Hello everybody and welcome to Inside Blue Jay Baseball and the Ed Servais Show. I'm Yano Mangiamelli alongside Coach Ed Servais. Coach, it's been a long time coming from last pitch in June to first pitch, but Friday night, it's here.
Here we go, Yano. Here we go. Friday night, whether we're all the way ready or not. It's going to be an interesting and challenging weekend going down to Dallas Baptist. We had a chance to play them last year in May, and they return a lot of players like we do positional-wise. And they brought in some good arms, some power arms, so we're going to see probably a little better pitching than when we saw them in May of last year. But it doesn't seem like it was that long ago when we played in June in LA, and hopefully the team remembers some of the good that came from that regional, and we can continue it here in the early part of this season.
Well, since we're on Dallas Baptist, they do return Boomer Collins and Cy Sneed, Boomer an infielder and Sneed a pitcher. They have been respectively chosen as player and pitcher of the year in their conference, so they will be formidable.
Yeah, you know, Boomer Collins actually started playing, Yano, as you remember, at Nebraska, and then he transferred to Dallas Baptist, and now he's been playing down there for a couple of years. But he is their best offensive player. He's a guy that we're going to talk a lot about this week in preparation for Dallas Baptist and what we need to do. I mean, he's a very aggressive, early count hitter, elevates the ball a lot. This is a good offensive ballpark that we're going to down in Dallas. He's a fly ball hitting guy. He can run pretty good too, but I know he's going to play to that ballpark. So, you know, we like to target a player before we play a series like this, and we'll definitely target Boomer Collins as the guy that we cannot allow beat us when we play him this weekend.
Well, mentioning the series this weekend, just let everybody know that we will be broadcasting those games on internet radio. You can get the link through the Creighton website. We'll do the first 14 road games on internet. It's free to listen to, so hopefully you'll join us for the broadcast. Coach, let's talk a little bit about our team this year. We'll go by positions, and you can tell our fans a little bit about the new guys. Start with catcher. We lost Anthony Van Boom and Scott Thornburg. A couple of good guys behind the plate. What are we looking at this year?
Yeah, and you know, Scott was really an off-and-on starter for us for 4 years, and then Anthony Bembum was a transfer student out of Iowa Western, did a great job for us for 2 seasons. Anthony currently is playing with the Anaheim Angels, and we see Anthony a lot at school here working out. He'll be headed to spring training here shortly. But catching is an area that we set out to, you know, try to make some adjustments and some improvements with. We have a junior college kid by the name of Kevin Lamb, who comes to us from southeastern Oklahoma State. He started his career actually at Oral Roberts a couple years ago, so he has some experience of what this Division I stuff is all about. And Kevin, we hope, can be a catch and throw kind of guy, give us some offense, but predominantly control the running game, which we've done a very good job of the last several years. Some other catchers that we have that are in the mix, Jerry Mitchell, who's been a part of our program now for 3 years, and Jerry's a converted guy. He was an outfielder originally coming out of high school out of Las Vegas, and we've converted Jerry now the last couple of years to catching. Has really improved in that area, has looked much better, more comfortable back there. Cody Cottage, an Omaha product out of Omaha Bryan, played his last 2 years at Garden City Community College there in Garden City, Kansas. And you know, Cody is an offensive-minded catcher. We've got to get him better defensively before we can see him on the field behind the plate. And those are the 3 guys that are kind of in the mix right now for playing time as we enter the first weekend.
We moved to the infield. We lost Chance Ross at third and Gold Glover Nick Judkins at first base. But you're going to solidify the middle of the infield with Alex Staley at shortstop and Jake Peter at second.
You know, Alex is a 4-year starter for us. He came in as a shortstop out of Bennett Academy in Chicago. We played him at second base the first 2 years, did a great job, and then when Elliot Soto left to go to pro baseball, we moved Alex over to short, and Alex had a good defensive season last year at shortstop. He's had a good fall for us, a good early part of the spring season here at short. So we're excited about that. We need a little bit more offense out of Alex, and he knows that. He did not perform offensively as well as he's capable last year, hitting in the low 200s, but you know, we need Alex to hit in that 260, 270, 280 range and continue to play his good defense that he has for us here the last 3 years. Jake Peter is also a converted shortstop coming out of high school. We made him a second baseman. I thought he really did a nice job for us last year. I know his offense wasn't as good as what he's accustomed to. He was the player of the year in the state of Iowa coming out of high school, so Jake has high expectations from an offensive standpoint. but I was very impressed with his ability to adapt to second base. He turns a double play, as well as a lot of players we've had here, and we've had some great second basemen here in the last 9 years. So we're really looking for a big season out of Jake. We'll also see him on the mound a little bit too, Yano, because Jake's got a strong arm. He's got a power arm, and we'll use him a little bit, maybe as early as Sundays in these weekend series. But I really like the combination of Alex and Jake out there. We got some guys behind him that aren't too bad either. Ryan Fitzgerald is a freshman shortstop out of Chicago who is impressed us in some of the early workouts. And then Tommy Clothier, who was a part of our program last year. He's a redshirt freshman, second baseman, who has really maybe the most improved player we have in the program today.
Well, third base, man after my own heart, Federico Castanini from Verona, Italy. Looks like a third baseman. And at first base, is it Reagan?
Fowler.
Fowler,
yeah. You know, Freddie is a junior college player out of Barton Junior College in Kansas, and interesting background because he grew up in Italy and he came over to the States, I believe, as a junior in high school, and then finished his last 2 years in the States to get his high school degree, and then went to a junior college. And Freddie's got some good baseball instincts. Now, he again is a former shortstop, so it's a conversion to third, which is a little different than short. The ball gets on top of you quicker. You got different angles to the ball than the shortstop would. But Freddie has learned to practice better here recently. He had a hard time with our style of practice, I think, in the first couple of weeks. Doing a much better job. I like the way he handles the bat. We'll probably pencil him in that 2 slot, Yano, as we get ready for our first game here this weekend. And then Reagan Fowler, again, was in the program last year. He's a redshirt freshman from right here in Omaha, Millard South. Left-hand hitter, left-hand thrower. We've always been seeking to get a left-handed glove at first base. We had Ian Dyke there a couple, 3 years ago. But we've, you know, Yano, we've got 4 gold gloves, and 3 of them have been from our first baseman. So Reagan's got a little pressure trying to uphold what these first basemen have done before him. But I tell you, he's done a marvelous job in the fall, and then he's looked good in these first 2 weeks of the spring workouts. So we feel pretty good about our infield. I think it's once again going to be one of the strengths of the team.
As we move to the outfield, this is probably the greatest number of returnees. You have 3 starters and 1 solid reserve player coming back. It's anchored by Mike Gerber in center field.
You know, I like these guys a lot, Yano, because they're very athletic. And you've seen games at TD Ameritrade, so a lot of the folks that are watching this tape here today have seen games over at the new ballpark, and they realize the outfield is spacious, that if you're not athletic, you'll get exposed. And we have Brad McEwen, who came on and had a very solid year for us as a first-year starter last year as a sophomore. Brad's a junior, and he's an athletic outfielder that we're looking for, and more than likely will hit the leadoff spot. Mike Gerber, who has a tremendous amount of potential. We got to keep Mike healthy. He's as good a defender in center field as there is in the league, I believe, maybe in the whole Midwest. Mike's a left-handed bat, has some power. He needs to get more consistent, but he's done a good job in the early part of this season, and in the fall I think he's adapted well to what Coach Allen has done with him as our new hitting coach. And then Brennan Murphy, who really came on the last 3 weeks of the season last year, another junior college transfer out of Butler Community College in Kansas. And Murphy's a senior right now, a left-hand hitter, left-hand thrower, maybe the fastest guy we got on the team. I look for Brennan to have a few more stolen base opportunities. He'll get on base a little bit more, puts a lot of pressure on the defense. But I really am impressed with our outfield. We have some guys backing these guys up that are pretty good players too. And Michael Blatchford, who's been a part of the program for 4 years, and Mike's had some injury issues. He seems to always get off to a pretty good start and something happens. Last year he had a knee injury. He's still not probably 100% coming off of that knee injury. Jordan Makovica, who's been a part of the program for 3 years, a nice little spot player for us, a good role player. And then we got a new player, another junior college guy at Lamar Community College in Colorado by the name of Ben Lon. And Ben Lon's a physical player, 6'3" and about 215, can give us a little pop from the right side. And Ben will play a little bit out in the outfield as well as help us in that DH role.
Well, I've watched the guys work out, and you know, I've always been impressed with the defense. And I concur with you. The speed in the outfield is terrific, so it'll be fun this year. Now, we have to talk about maybe a sore subject. Last year we lost some good pitchers, including Friday night guy and Ty Block from this year. 79% of the innings are gone. You return Winkleman and Muzak. Where else do we go from there?
Well, this is going to be an interesting part to put together as we go through the early part of our season. I'm not sure how these roles are all going to come together. We're going to start out, more than likely, I haven't even made 100% confirmation to this, but more than likely we'll start Tommy Strunk on Friday night. Tommy's a redshirt freshman, was in our program last year, so he understands what it's all about. He understands the system. And Tommy went out this summer and did a good job in the Prospect League, which is one of the summer leagues that the players play in. And Tommy possesses a power arm. You know, he can throw in the low 90s. Now, he hasn't built up to that point yet in the early part of this spring here, but he pitched very, very well for us in the fall. So we're hoping that continues as we get started here this weekend. Nick Music is a fifth-year senior who's been with us all that time, and Nick made a nice jump this fall. I thought he really took advantage of the new pitching coach and his style, and we hope that Nick can bring some of that experience to some of these younger guys. I'm not even sure what we're going to do on Sunday right now as we sit here early part of the week. More than likely we'll probably lean on Jake Peter because of his experience. We're going to see how Jake's arm holds up, but Jake possesses a power arm. He can throw 90, 91 off the 90, 91, 92 off the mound. We just got to figure out how we're going to use him, and plus not put him in a tough position where he can't play second base, because probably the best thing Jake does is hit, and we need his bat and his glove in the lineup if we can do that. Our bullpen, I think, will be a strength, even though a lot of these names are familiar to a lot of people. You know, Mark Winkleman, who's been a part of our program now, this is his fourth year. Mark's got well over 90 appearances in Division I baseball games. He'll kind of anchor that bullpen out there a little bit. The guy that I've really been impressed with is Nick Heiberger, a young kid out of Colorado who'll throw 90, 91. He's a strike thrower, has a little sink to his fastball. Mark Lukowski, who was a part of the team last year, threw a little more than 3 innings, will be a part of that bullpen too. Will Bamsberger, a left-handed pitcher out of Grand Island, a freshman, I think has an upside. And then Brian Sova, another junior college pitcher who led all of junior college Division II in saves last year, will come in. So if we can get to the 4th or 5th inning, I really like the matchups that we present out there. The question is, we got to find 3 guys that can do that, and we got to hope that Tommy and Nick are at least 2 of that 3 guys that we need to start games.
Yeah, Coach, as we end this coaches show this week, this, in my experience with Creighton Baseball, may be the toughest opening weekend we've ever had. I got to go back to 2001 when we went down to Arizona State when they were ranked 4th in the country. Dallas Baptist will present a good opportunity for you to evaluate your team.
Yeah, we will. You know, this is an offensive-minded team. They put a major emphasis on their offensive game. So our young pitchers are going to get tested quickly. We're going to have to execute some pitches. We're going to have to locate. We're going to have to eliminate opportunities for Dallas Baptist. They're going to create enough of their own. But we've got to hang in there. And I think the players are ready. There's no reason why. Sometimes it's better to play these guys early than late. They'll have some timing issues and things like that as well. So I'm very anxious to see how our young pitchers handle the environment down there. They're opening a new stadium on Friday night. They're anticipating 3,500 to 4,000 people. So not only are you playing Dallas Baptist, you got 3,500 to 4,000 people at the game, and you've got a young staff that you're going to work through this. And if we stay together and stay the course, we'll get through this. But it'll definitely be one of the tougher challenges we've had to open up the season.
Thank you, Coach. And join us for the first pitch on Friday night at 6:15. You can get those games through the Creighton website on internet radio. For Coach Ed Servais, I'm Yana Mangiamelli. Go Jays.